Thousands of Palestinian activists gathered outside of the Israeli embassy in London to protest the most recent wave of violent attacks against Palestinians in occupied territories. Among the speakers condemning the occupation and the attacks were George Galloway and Rafeef Zaidah.
In our thousands, in our millions!
Every major party in this country has a Friends of Israel. Conservative Friends of Israel, unbelievably a Labour Friends of Israel. Why does Israel have any friends? We have to create a situation in this country where people would be ashamed to be photographed at a Friends of Israel soiree. That's what we did in the struggle against apartheid in South Africa, and that's what we must do in the struggle against apartheid in Palestine.
If we could all lower your banners for a second, just so that we can see how many of you have turned out today. Thank you very much.
The Gaza Strip has been under siege, so not just occupation, it's been under a siege. So, like you said, it's an open-air prison, no food, no resources, no materials can go in and out. The people cannot move freely. It's the most highly densely populated piece of land on earth.
There was a pathetic article by some Israeli in The Guardian yesterday that said Palestinians have for decades taught their children to be murderers. As a Palestinian woman, I want to say we have taught our children resistance and courage and resilience. We have taught them how to fight for justice, not just for the Palestinians, but for justice around the world. And thank you for coming out to show that to the whole world today.
Here we are again. In the summer of last year, we gathered here and in Trafalgar Square week after week during the massacre of thousands of Palestinian people, men, women, and 500 of them children in Gaza. Speaking in Parliament a couple of months later, I warned the members of Parliament that the next uprising would be in Jerusalem. And now we have the Jerusalem Intifada. And we say victory to the Jerusalem Intifada. Victory to the Intifada. Not because we love violence, we hate it. Not because we wish for the death or the wounding of anyone. But in this, we have to place the context that the BBC and Sky never will. The people in Jerusalem are rising up against almost 50 years of brutal, illegal occupation. And it is their legal and their moral right to do so.
It's not enough to be angry, especially here in this country. I'm not even going to go into the history of the Balfour Declaration or British colonialism, but the current British government has an open arms trade with Israel, arms going back and forth. These are arms that are tested on the bodies of Palestinians that your tax money is going into.
There is no equivalence between the violence of an occupied people and the violence of those who overwhelmingly, with superior force, occupy them. That's why when I was young, on the television, in dramas, we thrilled to the actions of the French resistance, of the partisans in Italy and Yugoslavia, because we recognized that when a people is violently, illegally occupied for decades in this case, and there is no other way to throw off, shake off that occupation, then the people have every legal and moral right to fight. And that's what they're doing now. And we have one choice. Are we with the European colonial settler state represented by that embassy there? Or are we with their victims?
Yeah, I can say, actually, Israel have broken X amount of international laws. But that's just, I mean, people ask me, okay, and why isn't the international community doing anything about it? Because who are the international community? America, the UK, France. These countries are all pro-Israel, so they will never do anything.
They say, in their lack of context, that somehow this intifada stands in the way of a negotiated solution to this ancient conflict. In fact, it's long past time for negotiation. Negotiation between one party, which holds all the weapons and has the support of almost every government in the world, and another party which has only faith, themselves and us on their side. This balance of power has to be changed. There's only one solution, and that is one democratic state from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Palestine will be free. All over the world this day, on social media, on the streets of capitals and other cities, we are saying, in our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians.